everyone, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a long time. In fact, the last time I spoke with you guys, it was on September the 29th, which is actually was the 30th, 2 days after my second treatment. And my intention was not to go this long without recording a video, but what I experienced the second time was a lot different from my experience the first round. But today's date is October the 20th. This is actually the day of my third round. And I always feel good day one and day two. Day three from the first and second round was unbearable, but I'm not looking for that to happen again. So I gotta tell you guys why and what I'm doing to help prepare in my smooth transition. As you can see, the thumbnail is called Chemo Can Be Hard. I wanted the title to be called Chemo is Hard, but that is a definite title. It implies that everybody's experience is going to be like that, but everybody doesn't have the same experience. This was my experience the first and the second round, especially the second round. And I wanted to clarify that. I changed the title to Chemo Can Be Hard, but I wanted to talk about the difference between chemo and cancer. So we're getting ready to get into it. I wrote down some talking points that I wanted to address, so I have my little cheat sheet here to talk to you guys about, what I was experiencing and how my journey is going. And my journey is basically to help someone else go through, if they are experiencing cancer, and this will help them give some insight on how the experience might be for them. And so my journey, this is my journey in cancer. So I'm going to get into it, and but I'm going to look down at my cheat sheet and see what I'm supposed to be talking about. So in my last video, I talked about just receiving the chemo for my second round, but because it was just the second day, I hadn't really experienced anything, so I didn't get a chance to share with you guys what I had experienced. But and here's the third round, getting ready to go through that experience. But anyway, second round, I experienced some difficult symptoms in the second round. After the third day is when all of the harshness of chemo came down. Now, the reason why I wanted to talk about chemo and not cancer is the disease, but chemo is what is making it difficult for me to go through it, because chemo is supposed to be the cure, but chemo, when it enters your body, it kills everything. It kills everything, good and bad. So it's like going through your body, ravaging everything. And so you feel the effects of that destruction in your body. I immediately start having shortness of breath. I'm feeling extremely tired and fatigued, and could hardly make it out of bed. When I make an attempt to sit up or stand up, immediately I start getting dizzy and even feel sometimes like I'm going to black out. And it's hard to explain that to somebody who hadn't experienced chemo, and people really don't understand. It's like me trying to imagine getting shot. I don't know what it feels like to get shot, so I would not experience the pain that somebody who had gotten shot before experienced. So people trying to understand these symptoms and the things that I experience is kind of hard, because if you hadn't gone through it, you really don't know. And when people try and tell me to try walking, you got to eat something. I used to be on my cousin about her eating something when chemo just strips your appetite. You don't want to eat. You don't feel like eating. And what was hard about this one is I dropped 12 pounds in 1 week because I just couldn't eat. I stayed in that situation for 2 weeks with trying to fight coming back to my normal, but I just couldn't get out of bed, exhausted, and the times that I did get out of bed, it was to use the restroom, because you have a lot of fluid on your body is releasing it, and then you, as the patient, have to drink water to help flush the chemo out of your system. So the recommendation from the doctor is to consistently drink at least 4 bottles of water, at least 4 bottles. And then I know that it is hard to do, but you have to in order to get the chemo. And also the strength of the chemo, wait a minute, that might be, it's in another topic that I want to touch upon. So I don't want to jump around. I just want to give you guys a little bit of each topic. I forgot to address the elephant in the room. And what I mean is this elephant head. I should have talked about this in the beginning, but what happened was I had my hair braided in separate plaits, and I had it that way for a while. And one day I was picking up one of the plaits and I pulled it a little bit, and the complete plait just broke off. Then I started pulling my hair to see just a little bit, but it came off of my hand. And it wasn't upsetting to me. So what I did was I just took the scissors and just started cutting off the individual braids and just, putting it inside. And then I have a barber's clippers set. And so I took that and started just shaving it off of my head. And then once I did that, I still had some stubble. And so I lathered up some soap, put it all over my head, and took a razor, like where you shave your legs, and just shaved off the rest. And I know it's still some around the edges that I didn't get so well, but it's not important. So, rather than even to show it on the camera, I'm not afraid of people seeing my head, even though my brother tells me that my head is wrinkled and it looks strange and it feels strange. The first time, and when I shaved it off with the soap, I took a wash rag and washed over my head to get all the excess soap off of it. But little did I know that I was opening up my pores. So after I did all that, rinsed the rest of the remainder of the soap off of it, it felt like my head was open to the top, like it was in the refrigerator. And the cooling sensation didn't stop. And I was like, oh my God, what did I do? And so I immediately went and got a cotton scarf and put it over that, and another one just to give it some extra installation or insulation. And it felt better, but for days I just kept feeling this coolness in my head. But so I don't know how people feel about exposing their hair, but it doesn't bother me. I think my head is of a decent shape where I can just walk around and go in the street with my head like this. I don't mind. So while I was experiencing all of these symptoms that just totally threw me off base, and I couldn't think of anything else but what I was going through, what I was experiencing, and instead of because, I had, in addition to those symptoms of fatigue and dizziness and, just no strength and couldn't eat and weakness. While I was experiencing those symptoms, I was also in pain. The first round, it was just my legs. Second round, it was both legs and both arms. And I felt the pain in my bones. So that was consistent for 2 weeks, where it was just driving me crazy. But what I should have done is prepare my mind to deal with this and see if I can get my thoughts to be centered around my faith. When you're grounded in the Lord, I don't know whatever you guys' spiritual practice is, but whatever your spiritual practice is, focus on that. Focus on spirituality. Focus on God. Focus on healing yourself. Focus on feeling better. Focus on doing better. And I know during the process, it's a hard thing to do. But if you go into it the first and second days with that in mind, with the intention to focus on God and healing and gratitude, then I'm most certain that it will be a better transition for you, because I took my mind totally off that and was focused on how much I was hurting and feeling bad. But anyway, take your focus off of the pain before the storm hits, and then try to stay focused on that throughout those days. I don't know what the outcome is going to be, but I'm going to try my best to do that. And so in order to have a better experience, it is important to have a pain management team. When I had gone to, actually what happened was my cousin and my nephew came by, and my nephew especially saw how much in agony I was, and he and my cousin were suggesting that I call my nurse practitioner and tell her some of the stuff that I was experiencing. And they had her on the phone with me in the room, and she could hear how much I was in pain. And so the suggestion was to bring me into the office and let them see what was going on. So I went into the office, and she saw how much I was struggling to breathe. And so they immediately sent me down to the emergency room, because the office is in the hospital. So I went downstairs to the emergency room, and then they started running all of these tests, CAT scan on my lungs, CAT scan on my legs, because they thought I could possibly have some blood clots. But all the tests came back good, and I didn't have any blood clots. But I couldn't get my words out, and I was struggling to breathe. So that not being able to breathe, they thought it could have been some blood clots. And in hindsight, and I started reviewing what I was struggling with, what was causing me to have shortness of breath or not being able to talk while I was going through this. I realized that I was holding something in. When I was trying to talk to my cousin, my mother, my nephew, I was just getting so emotional about the distress that I was in, till I felt like I was getting ready to break down and just cry. And I don't know why I didn't do that, because my holding that in caused me to just be out of breath, not being able to talk, not being able to express myself, because I didn't want to break down and cry. But I should have done just that, because crying is healing. And the next time I'm feeling overwhelmed like that, where I just want to let it go, and break down and cry, I will do that, because it is cleansing for the soul, and it's also good for the body. So the next time, if if anyone who's going through this is experiencing this, crying is the best thing that you could do for yourself, because it's so healing. It releases that stress that's in your body and within you, just let it go. But after that experience, my nurse practitioner referred me to this team pain management team, in order for them to support me in going through the process instead of suffering in silence. And so I met with a doctor to help to manage my pain. We talked about the symptoms, we talked about what pain I was in, and we came up with some solutions. I want to talk about what the name of the drugs, but I do wear a patch now. I have a stronger pain reliever, and I am to call, my nurse practitioner and the pain management team when I'm feeling in distress and I can't. In these choices that they gave to manage my pain was not helping, but I have a good feeling that this experience, the third one, is going to be much better than the second one. I'm trying not to drag my words and take too long on this video. I realize a lot of my words after having this illness, it's not coming out all the time like I stumble on my words. I sometimes forget what I'm going to say, but I'm just going to chalk that up to, the disease, and it'll get back. And I'm trying to speed up what I want to talk about, so I won't hold you guys a long time. But how important the support system is. I talked about this the last time, but I can't overemphasize how important it is for someone going through any type of medical experience to have a good support system. I have so many people in place that are doing things and helping. I have, I mentioned my cousin Gwen, my mother, my cousin Debbie, and these three, and my cousin Andrea. These four always are managing, helping out with my making sure that I get to the doctor. And my cousin, who is an advocate for any member of our family who is sick, she's the one that goes with us to our doctor's appointments to make sure. But the family and friends and just the community, everybody, I feel so blessed. I feel so grateful. People are bringing me fruits, vegetables, calling, a lot of herbal remedies to aid in it, but I've decided not to take any of those things until the chemo treatment is over. I don't want to. I don't know how it may be clashing with those holistic things, so I'm going to wait until the chemo is over. Then I'll come back and build my system by using those things. So I don't want to aid in and wrecking my experience with the healing process. So, but my support system, and make sure I get to my appointments. I have people calling me, you need anything, you want anything, I don't want to leave anybody out, but those four who are always there, who make sure I get to my appointments. But there are a lot of people, siblings, first cousins, well, all cousins, who are making sure that I am getting everything that I need, whether they're bringing me items, whether they're calling, whether they're sending cards, whether they're, texting me. I just feel so thankful and grateful that I have this huge support system who are watching over me and making sure that I am receiving everything that I need. I feel like a spoiled child. One thing that I wanted to say for sure, each person's experience with cancer is different. I met a lady today that was in the same facility that I was in, and she was this is her second round, and her cancer, she was in stage 2. And so she was going to be receiving 4 rounds. And she was saying she may have experienced 5 days of discomfort after the 3rd day. And then she was, get back to her normal self. But I realized that the higher the stage, like I'm in between 3 and 4, the higher the stage, the more chemo you'll probably receive in order to make sure that the cancer is gone. So it explains my having more symptoms, having more pain, having a longer extension in recovery. It took me 2 weeks of going through like a horrible experience. But so each person is unique. Each person is different according to what cancer they have, according to, what stage, and according to how much chemo. But I wanted to make this video to let people know that chemo can be hard. I even had forgotten about the cancer. It wasn't so much the cancer that I was dealing with, it was the chemotherapy. And according to, how much you're receiving and how much is impacting your body. Like I said, chemo it goes through your body to kill everything, good and bad. So it takes things away from you. I am now on potassium pills to be taken every day because the chemo is depleting my potassium in the system. But they measure and keep up on track of your white blood cells, red blood cells, what's going on in your body, in order to be able to compensate for what the chemo is doing while you're going through this experience. So chemo is the culprit. I feel like cancer is just an innocent standby that is getting murdered. But while I was also an innocent standby, and you seeing this cancer get murdered, it's also affecting you. Not saying it's going to murder me, but it's affecting me, because I 100% feel like after this 3rd round, they're going to find out that the cancer is gone. The plan was to do 3 rounds of chemo, then, do the CT scan to check and see how much of the cancer is going on, if it's gone at all. And according to what they find, if they find that the cancer is gone, then they'll do the operation, take out everything, and then do 3 more rounds just to make sure, because there are microscopic sizes of cancer that they can't see with their eyes. And so just to make sure, wreck it again. But it's not funny, but it's like going through hell, and then once you finish and you're exhausted, and say hell was hard, you gotta run through it 2 more times. Anyway, I digress. Just making light joke of the situation, but it's not funny. So I'm going to end this video, but I want to let you know I'm going to not take as long this time because I'm already claiming a better experience, a better feeling. But the chemo, this video was intended to talk about my second round, and I've had my third round today. Hopefully in a few days, I'll be telling you guys about the experience and offering some situations that may be helpful to other people who are experiencing this thing right now. Because chemo can be hard. It is according to your stage, your symptoms, and how much chemo they're giving you. So anyway, I'm going to be back sooner and not take so long, and I have to aid in my recovery by letting it be known to the doctors, and speak up about what you're feeling, what you're going through, in order for them to help you transition through the process better. You have to be your own advocate as well and speak up for yourself. So anyway, I expect nothing but the best from this round, and I expect for the cancer to be gone, because they'll check again in 2 weeks to do the CT scan, and in 2 weeks I expect to be cancer free, and then go ahead and experience the last 3 rounds, and then I'll be recovering. But I want to thank everybody who has sent me notes on my YouTube channel, everybody in the family and friends and community who has been very supportive, very, very, very supportive. I feel bad sometimes because I get a lot of calls, but I can't answer them. I couldn't answer them when I was going through that mess, because you don't really want to talk to nobody. You don't want to see anybody. You just want to lay there and hope it just goes away. But I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to stay diligent, because these people care about me and try to support me and want to be there for me. And I'm going to do better at responding to. And thank you for all of your notes and your support and your love and your concern. I'm going to be back earlier this time and sooner, and keeping you all up to date on my journey with cancer. So if you have not subscribed yet to the channel, please consider doing so, because this helps me to grow the channel. It helps me to bring more informative messages like my cancer journey, and then back to the other videos I was making. And if you like what you hear, please hit that like button. Share it with somebody that has cancer so they can compare stories and see if what they're going through is the same as what I'm going through. And there's a button that looks like a bell that you can click on it, and it will notify you whenever I upload a new video and let you go ahead and watch the video. So again, thank you all for your love, your support, your concern, for continuing to follow me on this journey. And I will see you in the next video, hopefully sooner. All right, everybody take care. Oh, this is what I wanted to mention. There's a new study out that's saying 1 in 3 women will possibly get cancer because of or after the pandemic. You know, when I heard that, I was saying to myself, I think it was 1 in 3 women who had COVID, you know, during the pandemic. That's not confirmed, so I'm not saying that is what the CDC found, or whoever the reporting agency is. My theory is 1 in every 3 women who may have experienced COVID might get it. I had COVID in 2020, and I think after that is when it started developing. I don't have any proof of that, but that's just my theory. So anyway, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to share, like, hit the notification button, and keep watching it. I will be back sooner than before with an update. Thanks, everyone.